its finest.
And still, the IWF Light Heavyweight Champion of the world, Clinton Woods.
Woods just ahead, but tomorrow night on Setanta Sports, Monday Night Football at its finest as Chelsea continue their Premiership title quest at home to Wigan, who are yet to secure their top flight safety. You can see coverage from Stamford Bridge from 7 p.m, Setanta Sports 1. And on Wednesday from the top flight in Scotland, Celtic versus Rangers. A must-win for Celtic, to put it mildly. A potential title clincher of sorts, you could say, for quadruple chasing Rangers. That's from 7 p.m. Wednesday, Setanta Sports 1. Back to the boxing from Tampa. We just saw a cracking fight between Chad Dawson and Glenn Johnson. Dawson retained his WBC light heavyweight title there. We've got some great action to come, Steve Bunce, and we're hoping for Clinton Woods to defend his title successfully against Antonio Tarver. What's he going to need to get right to do that tonight?
His head. It's that simple. We've seen that auditorium there, the St. Pete Forum, which has got to be one of the most vulgar named sports halls anywhere in the world.
You've been there. You've experienced it.
I saw Roy Jones beat Mike McCullum in there with little Naz. I had to take my coat off and give it to Nassim Hamid because he was cold. So I think they play ice hockey there. One of the Florida teams plays there because it's freezing in Florida, as you know. And so little Naz had to have my coat on the ice. And we watched Mike McCullum lose every single second of every round against Roy Jones. So it's a fantastic arena. So what Clinton's got to do right now, he's gloved up right now, he's minutes away, he's in that tunnel, he's got to concentrate, he's got to focus, and he's got to remember one thing. Even though Antonio Tarver is fighting in his home city, in his home state, okay, I think he's only fought there once in the last 7 years, okay? It's not like going to Manchester to fight Ricky Hatton, or going to Cardiff to fight Joe Kozaki, or going to Sheffield to fight Clinton Woods. Plus, Clinton Woods is an ice-cool man. I want to see Clinton calm going to the ring. If I start to see Clinton looking a bit like Ricky Hatton did in the days before the Mayweather fight last December, Phil, where he started to lose his head a little bit, started the whole hype thing, the whole hype machine was getting to him. That affects what you do in the ring. We saw a little bit with Ricky that night. He pushed a bit too hard. Clinton's got to do what Clinton does. High hands, look for shots, work behind a still-like, Sheffield City of still-like jab. Work behind the jab. Don't put up with any funny business from Tarver trying to get in your face. Slow Tarver down with simple shots.
Now, most onlookers, you've touched on it already, saying it's going to be supremely close tonight. Difficult one to call. The odds makers have got, well, they've got Tarver just ahead, 5-4 on to win.
I tell you what I like. I like that 9-2 Woods stoppage in the last 2 rounds. And I tell you what's generous there, 18-1. And if you're watching this now and you can get on the line, you've got a bookie that give you 18-1. That's a great bet. 18-1. That's a fantastic bet. Because, you know, it looks like it's going to go late. Most people think it will go 12. I just think Clinton can stop him in the last 2 rounds or 3 rounds, Phil.
Well, here are the stats. As you can see, 45 fights for Woods, 30 for Tarver. Both have suffered the, fair share of defeats, you could say. Not many. Yeah, they're not. You're talking about a knockout for Woods. He's not known for that. Neither of them are really.
No. Tarver can stop people, but he stopped guys, apart from the Roy Jones knockout, which is really... Tarver's career, let's be honest here, OK? He was a world-class amateur. He went in 1995 to Berlin. I was ringside. He was 26. He was already old by that stage. That's odd for an American amateur to be 26 and doing the business on the world stage. That's odd. Because I tell you who was in the team. He was 17 years of age. He was a pain in the arse then. He's still a pain in the jacksie now. Floyd Mayweather was on the team. He got beat out of sight in Berlin, and Tarver went all the way. Won.
Was that World Championships?
World Championships. Won the World Amateur Championships, and he beat a guy called Vasily Girov in the final. Fast forward a year. Atlanta, American soil, the Olympics, your city. You lived there for a few years, Phil. There's Tarver. He's got every chance. He's the favourite for the gold medal. Lost in the semi-finals to Girov. I thought he got jobbed. I thought he beat Vasily Girov from Kazakhstan. Girov has turned pro, had some big fights, won some big fights, lost a few big fights, and he's vanished off the face of the boxing earth. And here's Tarver, slow momentum. Wants to be an actor. Not sure if he really wants to be a fighter. Lost to Bernard Hopkins about 18 months ago, I think it was, and lost. Did Hopkins did a job on him. The type of job he's promising to do on Joe Calzaghe next week, by the way, absolutely took everything away from Tarver. Every time Tarver tried something, Bernard had a move for him. Every time Tarver tried to put the pressure on, Bernard had a counter move. That's what Hopkins does. He wins the fights with his head and with his legs, not with his fists.
And Tarver put it down to losing too much weight too quickly, didn't he? That was his excuse.
And he's right, 48 pounds to play Mason Dixon in the Rocky movie. We alluded to that earlier on. Tarver is, at this point, still a dangerous fighter. But more than that, he's a name. He's a bankable and he's a marketable name and he's a massive scalp. He's an enormous scalp. He's a great talker. We've seen that fantastic press conference. It's been a bit lively out there this week, I'm told. He's a big scalp, and I'm convinced it's a fight that Clinton can win. And not just win, I think he can look good doing it. I think he's got what it takes to do it. And Clinton's maturing. He seems to be getting younger somehow. And he should, after all these hard fights, as I mentioned earlier on, 11 years of championship fights, 15 title fights, proper title fights, and many of them hard. Not easy ones, many of them 12-round, really hard fights. Yeah. But he's not tiring. He's looking fresher.
Since that fight with Roy Jones in 2002, he's got better. He's huge.
You know what? He goes out to that fight. You know, you look at that there. He loses to Roy Jones in 2002. On his feet, the towel's thrown in from the corner. Jones is working him over to the body. And we know that Tarver fought Roy Jones. But Tarver fought Roy Jones after Roy Jones had moved up to heavyweight, not to fight Rocky, but to fight a guy called John Ruiz. And no one should ever confuse sliced alone Rocky with John Ruiz. So Jones had gone up and he'd lost the weight when he came back down. That was possibly a factor it's definitely a factor in Roy Jones's decline, to be honest with you.
All right, Steve, thanks for now. Let's hear from Clinton Woods then. Before he went out to Tampa, he spoke to our reporter, Rob Walker.
Have you got the feeling that already that this is going to be the biggest fight you've had so far? Yeah, definitely. It is the biggest fight. I know I boxed Roy Jones 5 years ago, but I was still young. I think I enjoyed that fight too much. This is totally different. I'm more confident now. I'm growing into a more of a man. I've matured late, and I know I can beat him. Maybe against Roy Jones, back in my mind, I didn't think I was going to beat him. I was young. How good is Tarver in your opinion?
He's very good. People have been saying that he's not as good as he used to be, but I just watched his last two fights. I tell you something, he's as good as he used to be. He looks sharp. He's fast again. He had one blip in his career when he lost to Hopkins, but everybody knows what happened that night. He'd just been doing the movies, with the Rocky movies, and he'd come down from 16 stone. So he must have took a bit of toll on his body.
Is there a feeling, do you think, that maybe the sort of the lure of Hollywood and the glamorous side of life has maybe helped him take his eye off the ball a little bit?
I think he did take his eye off the ball, especially for the fight what he lost against Hopkins. But now I think they're saying that now his back dedicated himself to boxing. So no, I think he's really up for this fight.
Do you feel that he maybe thinks he's got something to prove because he hasn't quite yet got the profile of a Jones Jr. and in similar ways you maybe haven't had the profile that you've deserved in your career so far? So is there something of that between the two of you, do you think?
Maybe, like we're a bit spoiled. Britain's spoiled at the moment with all the champions we've got. So it's hard to talk about all the champions we've got. Obviously Ricky Hatton is just a massive name. People are always going to talk about Ricky Hatton for what he's done. David Hayes, like one of the pin-up boxers. So, and I'm just like a skinny boy from Sheffield. I mean, I'm quiet, I'm not flash. I think that's one of the reasons why I've never been pushed as much, because I find it hard to be flash and to push myself. But Tarver, I think he craves to be noticed.
Look at me. Do I look like a fighter to you? Look at me. Look how pretty I am.
Let's look beyond April the 12th for a moment. Who do you want next? Jones Jr.'s baiting you out. He wants you next, but surely it's got to be you and Joe if Joe beats Hopkins.
Yeah, obviously I've got to get past Tarver first, but there's two big fights out there. There's Calzaghe, the fight. Everybody knows I'd love the fight. I'd sign tomorrow for that fight. And then there's a rematch with Jones. Obviously Jones beat me. I'd love to get my own back on Jones. So they're the two fights what I'd love.
But definitely Calzaghe first and then Jones Jr.
Definitely Calzaghe. It's what everybody talks about. Battle of Britain. me against Jones, see what happens.
Well, it'd be a fascinating prospect, that, wouldn't it, against Joe Calzaghe? And there's talk of it already, Steve, perhaps for October if he gets through this. So, I mean, do you think it's one of those that's carved in stone if both win, basically?
Not necessarily if they both win, but if they both win well. And I think more importantly, I think Joe can win. I think Joe can scratch a victory out, which is going to be a hard fight against Hopkins. I think he'll do it, but it's going to be really tough. We'll talk about that later and throughout the week. But what needs to happen is Clinton needs to win in style and shut up Tarver. That's going to work well. Tarver isn't just a good talker when he's in a press conference in central London. He's a good talker in Las Vegas. He's a good talker in New York. He's a good talker in Atlanta. He's a good talker wherever he fights. He dominates. He captivates. He drags audiences in. They love him. There's a little bit of the Gorgeous George, the wrestler that inspired Muhammad Ali, about him. There's a little bit, he touched himself, touching his head there, saying, "I'm so pretty." That's from Ali. Yeah. Ali nicked it from Gorgeous George, a guy that had long flowing white hair and a gold robe in the 50s. So
he's deluded, by the way.
Oh, nothing's. Listen, I often do that when I had those locks. Nothing's original when it comes to self-promotion. So that's why, if he can do a great victory, if he can have a great fight here and stop him or win comfortably on points, it helps him when he sits down, if he sits down at the negotiating table for Calzaghe, because the American public won't be buying a European guy, as he said, a skinny white kid from Sheffield. They'll be buying that Brit that knocked out Tarver, the guy that fought Rocky. It's association, Phil, but it works, big boy.
Excellent. So Clinton Woods, Antonio Tarver, if you've been a betting man, as I know you are, your money is on? My money's on a late stoppage, and I saw the stoppage, the points there, 9 to 2 for a stop. Oh yeah, 9 to 2 the odds on a stoppage in general. I'd have a tenner on the last 3 rounds. I've just got a feeling in my bones. And what is it that gives you that? I mean, you touched on it a couple of times tonight. You're feeling it in your water, in your bones, and everything. Listen, the Hopkins defeat. You just saw there was a way he did it in that fight, Hopkins. I think Clinton can do it. I disagree slightly with Clinton. I don't think the last 2 performances were that good. The last 2 performances of Tarver, they were against guys that weren't that good, and he looked half decent beating them. But I tell you what, it wasn't Wood. They weren't Woods. It's Woods tonight. It's Tarver tonight. And I just got a feeling this is, as they say in boxing, they say in all sports, this is Clinton Woods' night. Well, here we go. He's the pride of Sheffield. He's about to take on Antonio Tarver in his own backyard out there in Tampa. And we can once again join our commentary team, Richie Woodall and John Rawling.
Clinton Woods has made his way to the ring. The IBF champion, Antonio Tarver, champion as recognised by the lesser organisation, the IBO. And there was a bit of a row behind the scenes about who was supposed to be coming to the ring first. And 1 or 2 people said to me, well, it's a no-brainer. Antonio Tarver should come first because he's the challenger. Well, you can see what happened with that argument. There's the champion first into the ring.
Yeah, I mean, I go along with Clinton. Tarver's the one who should be coming to the ring first. Clinton Woods is IBF light heavyweight champion at the end of the day.
There's Tarver. Not been short of a few words, as you heard at the beginning of the programme. Now 39 years old. Certainly looks younger than that. But can he reproduce the form of his youth, of his younger days? When he lost to Bernard Hopkins, I don't know about you, Richie, but I thought he looked a real old fighter.
Yeah, he did. He did indeed, John. I don't think he's been right since that fight, since the Hopkins fight. And then obviously went into this movie or whatever with Rocky Balboa, and that was around that time as well.
It was rumoured that Sylvester Stallone rocked him.
Yeah, exactly, but I don't think he's been the same since. And again, at 39, how long can he go on?
Well, he says that it's his mission to become undisputed champion once again. He's going to get rid of Woods. He's going to face Chad Dawson. And he'll face either Calzaghe or Hopkins. There's Antonio Tarver, a.k.a. Mason the Line Dixon from the Rocky Balboa movie. A really controversial decision in that one.
Certainly was. But in his 30 fights, he has fought some quality opponents. Jones, Hopkins, Glenn Johnson, Montel Griffin, Reggie Johnson. You know, there's 5 world champions there. And he hasn't lost to them all. I mean, he's beat Jones, he's lost to Jones, he's beat Jones twice and lost once.
But on the evidence of his last 3 performances, he lost to Hopkins, then came back and had a bit of an iffy performance against Elvir Moriki, which he won on points, then came through against Danny Santiago, and, you know, you can sometimes say, well, who are they? And he didn't look good against him.
And, of course, he's won and lost to Glenn Johnson. He has fought some quality, though, John.
He has, and at his best, Clinton Woods has said he's a better boxer than me, but I'm going to get in there and break his heart. Flags of St. George being waved by the Clinton Woods entourage. His trainer, Richard Poxon, having final words of advice. Manager, Dennis Hobson, who's been with him since the beginning. Trains at his gym up in Gleadless, on the south side of Sheffield. And here now is Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the St. Pete Times Forum here in Tampa, Florida, for the second of our World Championship featured attractions of the evening, brought to you by Gary Shaw Productions and AT Entertainment in association with Dennis Hobson's Fight Academy and Showtime. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the IBF, President Marion Muhammad, Supervisor Al Meyer, the IBO, President Ed Levine, Supervisor John Dodano, and the Florida State Boxing Commission, Chairman Eduardo Lacasa, Vice Chairman Don Bowen, Commissioner Mel Gerardo, and the Executive Director is Tom Malloy. Our physicians at ringside, Dr. Carlos Rodriguez, Dr. Adam Brunson, and Dr. Terrace Cockno, and our timekeeper at the bell tonight, James Chittenden. Introducing our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside, from Doncaster, England, Howard Foster. From Brisbane, Australia, Steve Marshall. And from Miami, Florida, John Rupert. Introducing our 3rd man of the ring, our referee in charge. He hails from Orlando, Florida, Frank Santore. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF and IBO Light Heavyweight Championship of the world. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Tampa, it's showtime! First on my right, in the red corner, the IBO champion, wearing black trunks with silver trim, fighting out of and representing Tampa, Florida. He weighed in at 173 3/4 pounds with a record of 26 wins, 4 losses. He has 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former WBA, WBC, and IBF champion of the world and the current IBO light heavyweight world champion, introducing the Magic Man, Antonio Tarver. And his opponent across the ring on my left, the IBF world champion, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue trunks with white and red trim. He is fighting out of the Steel City of Sheffield, England. He weighed in at the light heavyweight limit of 175 pounds with a record of 41 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. He has 25 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making the 5th defense of his title, here is the current and defending IBF light heavyweight champion of the world, introducing the pride of Sheffield, Clinton Woods. Once again, the referee in charge, Frank Santore, now to give instructions.
Tarver. Right, Tarver Woods, we're here for the IBO and the IBF Championship of the World. Gentlemen, we've gone over all the instructions. You know what I expect of you. Let's have a clean fight. Both your belts are right where they're supposed to be. Let's keep your gloves here above. Questions? Questions? Good luck to you.
Well, Woods, just by a fraction, I would say, slightly the taller man here, Richie. And the general feeling is that Tarver will start fast, try and use his mobility, and try and impose himself from word go. Woods has said that he will stay with him, he'll get inside, put the pressure on, and to use his words, he will break his heart. Going to be an interesting one either way. And it is being dedicated, this fight, to young Scott Brooks by Clinton Woods, training partner of his who died tragically in a road accident last week. And Clinton will be going back to the funeral in Sheffield later this week. He's dedicated his performance here to his friend.
Well, for me, Woods, he's the one who's got to start quick here, silence this crowd a little bit, get to Tarver, work on the inside, and again land that right hand. And just don't let Tarver get into a rhythm and get the crowd on his side. If you can just silence this crowd, that would be a great start for Woods.
Well, we've already seen one fight here which has been judged, so far as the crowd is concerned, very much in favour of the home fighter. Chad Dawson defeating Glenn Johnson, and Tarver is the man who has the crowd support. He's a Tampa man, and he's promoted by the promoter of the show, Gary Shaw. Woods, therefore, reading between the lines, well, you know it, don't you? Yeah. He's got to win big.
Yeah, he has got to win big here. This is Tarver's home, you know, it's his home stadium, isn't it, at the end of the day? I think he beat Roy Jones here, didn't he?
He did. Jones, who by that stage was back from the John Ruiz heavyweight excursion, and was never the same after that when he lost the weights and tried to get back down. Clinton Woods admits that Tarver is a better boxer than him.
A lovely left uppercut there from Tarver. Great shot that was, right through the guard of Clinton.
Tarver was a narrow gambling favourite. If you shopped around, you could get 10 to 11 or even money on Clinton Woods. Woods, though, very, very focused.
Don't wrestle, guys. No holding.
First round, a relatively quiet affair as the two men just feel each other out. Woods hasn't got through with too much clean leather so far.
No, it's been a better round for Tarver. He's landed with a couple of good quality shots, especially those uppercuts. And Clinton just finding Tarver's style a little bit awkward here.
Tall, rangy southpaw.
Stop. Time.
Deep breath. If you're unsure, show it. You didn't show him one
in the
jab.
corner with Clinton Woods, who
right there,
on Richie's card lost that opening round.
Get out.
Tarver starting the better, showing those silky boxing skills. And Woods needs to force his way into the fight. Got to get in close, got to land some telling shots. Can't, as we've said, afford to let Tarver settle into a rhythm. Tarver, a relatively late arrival into the professional ranks. Had a good amateur career, former world champion in 1995, bronze medal in the Olympics in Atlanta in '96, and then turned pro after that. This is better from Woods. This is what he needs to do. Got to show his strength. There's a smear of blood on the forehead of Woods.
Well, that just showed you what Clinton's got to do here. He's got to get his man on the ropes. He landed with a couple of good shots there. But I think Tarver, he knows to stay centre ring, stay off those ropes and out the corners, and that's what he did there. He just moved away from the ropes. But that's what Clinton's got to do. Double up the attacks, there you go, and then push this fella back and just restrict his movements on those ropes.
And maybe if Tarver nowadays does find it difficult to get down to 12-7, maybe get towards that rather frail-looking midriff. Very, very spare physique, thin guy. And here comes Woods. This is where he wants him, trying to show his power and his strength. Woods, who's such a role model for youngsters in his hometown, Sheffield. I saw an interview which he did recently with his home paper, the Sheffield Star, and also with Radio Sheffield, where he was talking about the dangers of drugs in society and freely admitting that he had his problems and he could have gone off the rails had it not been for his dedication to this sport, where he's now at the top, defending a world title here in Tampa. He's a man who's made the most of what talents he's got as a fighter. Oh, that's a good body shot. Really solid right hand. Tarver felt that one.
And that's what we need. We need more of those body shots here, just to slow Tarver up a little bit.
It's been a better round for Woods. He started to find his way into it here. Very quiet opening so far as the Sheffield man's concerned. I like the look of those meaty-looking body shots, though. Finding the target, there's another one, and Tarver doesn't like him.
Oh, that was a good bit of movement there from Woods, because he actually changed round to the orthodox, southpaw stance, and he landed the left hand to the body.
That's an eye-catching uppercut from Tarver in the last few seconds. That's an old pro, putting his foot on the accelerator.
If you want it, listen.
Well, Clinton Woods had a better second round. Did he do enough to take it, Richie?
Yeah, I'm going to give Clinton the round. He was coming forward, and he did land some good shots on the rope, so yeah, I'll give Clinton that round.
And they were saying to Woods, believe it, that you're quicker than him. Put the pressure on and believe you can do it, because he doesn't like it when you do so. Woods, for me, so much better a fighter than when he came over to the United States and fought Roy Jones 6 or so years ago. Then he was given a little bit of a boxing lesson by Jones and didn't really look like a man who, in his heart of hearts, believed that he could spring the upset against the man who at that time was pound for pound best in the world. Against Antonio Tarver at 39 in the autumn of his boxing years, maybe a different story.
He's learned a lot since then, though, John, hasn't he?
He's come on, hasn't he?
He's had 7 world title fights, and he's been in, he's been in some absolute cracking matches. Different fighter now. Got to keep those hands up as he's walking forward here. Oh, lovely uppercut there for Tarver.
If you allow Tarver to fight at range like that and feature those eye-catching shots, then you're in his territory. He's got to close it down, get inside, push his man back.
Well, at the moment, the pace is suiting Tarver again. It's another case of Tarver, he's getting into a rhythm, and Clinton, he's not getting his shots off quick enough. He's got to apply more pressure and push his man back.
It's good for Tarver. That's a noted puncher, Antonio Tarver. Sharp rather than massively concussive.
Good work here from Tarver. It's too easy for Tarver. Clinton's got to up it here. He's got to go through the gears a little bit. Work to the body. There was a right hand there. Wasn't too far away. Got to slow this man down.
Body shot from Woods. Tarver landing the more punches clearly in this round. Uppercut in there from Tarver. Success with 2 or 3 of those already. from the Sheffield fans, predominantly among the English fans who've made their trip across over here as Tarver stumbled forward there.
Break. Let him go. Don't grab the rope. Don't grab the rope, Tarver.
Woods hasn't done enough to win this one for me, Richie.
No, he hasn't. He's allowed Tarver to work in a good rhythm.
So the third round ends, and the crowd would like a little bit more action. One or two boos as the fighters made their way back to the corners. They're a bit unforgiving hereabouts. They like to see toe-to-toe wars.
They like to see toe-to-toe battles, don't they? You know, guys taking shots, landing their own punches, taking risks.
Massive crowd here. Wondered when I saw the site of just how big this place is. Holds around 18,000 fans. Thought it was going to be a little bit open, a little bit empty, but there's the way how Rich is seeing it. And it is, at the moment, going against Clinton Woods. Long way to go, though. It's a 12-rounder. IBF and IBO Light Heavyweight Championship of the World.
Well, to be honest, I don't think the crowd like what they're seeing anyway from Tarver either, because he's always on the back foot and trying to box Clinton. They prefer seeing guys going forward. So the crowd are fairly quiet here. But Clinton, he's got to go through the gears. He's got to up the work rate here and sustain the pressure.
Got a difficult target, hasn't he? A mobile southpaw and a bit of a spoiler at that. Tarver had that really bad defeat against Bernard Hopkins, and on that particular occasion you looked at him and you thought, is there anything left in the tank at all? Well, he showed that he's still got something. That's a good shot from Woods. Good jab.
What a great shot that was, really short and sharp there from Clinton, mainly because he stepped in with the shot. That's what he's got to do, and then land that right also.
Now Woods needs to work as they get close. Tarver able to use the ropes and just skip away. Good shot from Tarver. You heard the applause from his corner. Corner led by veteran trainer Jimmy Williams. That's good. And the crowd, a little buzz of acclaim for that from the home favourites.
Clinton keeps on changing to the southpaw, John, and I think he's just finding Tarver very, very awkward. Couple of good shots there, that's better from Clinton. But that's why he changes that southpaw style, because he's just trying different things.
He's not been able to impose his fight on Tarver so far.
No.
Wood's been a pro an awful long time, and you always got the impression that he didn't realise quite how good he was in the early days. So far, Tarver for me is taking this one.
Stop. Time.
Clinton Woods is behind on our cards, and Antonio Tarver, the home favourite, has the advantage. 4 rounds completed.
That's a little bit better from Clinton. He worked to the body there. This is what he's got to do. Got to restrict the movement of Tarver and push him back on those ropes. But as he is coming in, he's got to keep moving his head, create more of an elusive target as he's walking forward.
He has coped with southpaws before, hasn't he? I remember when he fought, was it Yowie Davis?
That was a great
WBC eliminator back before he fought Jones. That was a fight in Sheffield, and he really did a good job on him, did a number.
He did, he was getting close to Davis, wasn't he? And he scored with the right hand especially, but he's just struggling to close that gap down. Tarver very, very awkward. That's better, that's what he's got to do, and just keep him there now, back on those ropes. Oh, good left uppercut there from Tarver.
Woods took it well, though.
Don't punch, break.
That's what he's got to do, though. He's got to get in close and got to maintain sustained pressure.
I mean, there's boos from the crowd. I mean, are they booing because of Tarver's running? They can't be booing because of Clinton, because Clinton's coming forward. He's trying to make a fight of it.
I wonder about American fight fans on occasion. They like apologies for those Americans who may be watching our broadcast. But sometimes I get the impression that the subtleties of the sport are sometimes lost. And people criticise Floyd Mayweather over here, don't they? The best fighter on the planet.
That's better from Clinton. You see how Tarver's so quick to get out of that position. It's such a negative position, you see, when you're on the ropes. And he just quickly moves off. Good work from Tarver there.
Really good straight right-hand lead from Tarver as well. When you were saying that, Richie thudded one home. Oh, good shot. Tarver backs up. Showing some real flashy shots, the American. But Woods has had his moments. And you get the impression, although Tarver's ahead at this point, that Woods is just beginning to find the range, maybe. Good uppercut again from Tarver.
I said about that head movement, John, as he's coming forward, that's what Clinton's got to do, because he caught a couple of big shots in this round with that left hand, that left uppercut.
Another round for Tarver. Last 10 seconds of the round.
Punches up, Tarver, punches up.
Good round for Tarver.
Break time.
Clinton Woods has been told in no uncertain terms, you're not trying. Well, I think that's a bit harsh. But certainly Tarver is able to win at the moment with his style of fight. 5 rounds gone. And on Richie's cards, what is it? 4 rounds out of 5 to Tarver. Woods needs a big round.
It's just allowing Tarver just to move out of that position again. He's got to keep him back onto the ropes. Keep him there, now he's got to work.
Woods allowing the old fox to bamboozle him for too long. Coming forward, threatening to throw shots, and then just not doing so.
Just waiting too long.
Here he goes. Now this is where he's got to put the pressure on. But Tarver using sweet footwork to get out of that corner and then punish him with the left hand to the head. And settling into his rhythm once more.
This is a typical contest where an orthodox fighter is really struggling against the southpaw style. Oh, lovely shots there again from Tarver. Clinton has got to start throwing more right hands. Try to throw some left hooks of his own. They always say that's a great shot to throw against the southpaw. It's landed out of the line of vision. Feint the right hand, land the left hook.
Not fighting with a huge amount of self-belief, Clinton Woods. But fair play to Tarver. He is reaching back into bygone years and finding good form here. That left uppercut has been a damaging blow throughout for Woods, who's forced to backpedal. Good shot. Tarver fans are standing up and urging their man forward. Another big left hand. Woods shrugs his shoulders and says, well, it didn't do anything, didn't move me, but it landed flush.
This is Tarver's best round by far here. Tough kid though, Clinton. He took that shot so well.
All right, being tough, Richie. He's got to do more. Got to land more punches. That's better.
All right, stop. Good break.
It's just fought at a pace that is totally suited to Tarver's style.
There's that left uppercut once more.
St. John lets him out again, look, lets him out of the corner.
Having landed the body shot. Can't sustain it. It's another round for Tarver. No doubt about it. Clinton Woods is slipping an awful long way behind here. Blood seeping from his nostrils, as you can see. And it's already getting to the point where he needs big rounds to get back into this fight.
Deep breath. Deep breath. 6 rounds left. Listen, you've got to pull it out now. Already, you've got to go and pull it out. Deep breath. Go on.
Some great work here from Tarver. There's that left uppercut. Straight left hand again. Clinton took it well, but it was a perfect shot.
He landed pretty well flush, didn't he? And, you know, when you get the old kidology starts there. Chad Dawson, a winner earlier on, and now watching the main event. Dawson, a controversial winner over Glenn Johnson, at least according to the crowd. No doubting who's winning this at the moment.
Go here. Get this ice.
They're asking him to get some ice and water out of the corner.
Watch the ice, gentlemen. Let's keep it off the ring.
And there's the face of the man who is winning so far, Antonio Tarver. We're into the second half of the fight. The first half belonged to Tarver. Woods has got to now really open up the gas.
Yeah, got to have a change of tactic here from now. That's better from Clinton. I'm just saying, got to change his tactics. Got to really step on the gas, up the work rate, push this man back, and just sustain the pressure, John. He hasn't been able to do that.
Tarver's bamboozled him, hasn't he?
That's the perfect fight.
It's the style thing.
You see, he has opportunities to work on the road, but Clinton doesn't sustain it. But he's a clever guy, Tarver. Look at the way he just moved away out there. He doesn't stay on the ropes long, Tarver. He's gone.
Woods has just not been able to keep the pressure on him as he said he was going to be able to. Great accuracy with that right-hand lead, Tarver. Now Woods has him on the ropes. Can he unleash some punches?
I'd like to see him try and land a few more left hooks, Clinton. Right hand, left hook combinations, that wasn't too bad there.
That's a good shot, good right hand. Chad Dawson, who you saw watching between rounds. Gary Shaw, the promoter, wants to make Tarver against Dawson as the next fight. Woods, if he were to come through this, there was talk of him possibly fighting Joe Calzaghe in the autumn. But he needs to do something spectacular now to keep his title. The way I'm seeing this, he's got to have a big round soon, Richie, or it is just going to slip away.
Yeah, Tarver has all the answers here. Boxed him superbly well on the back foot. People are acknowledging that now. They were booing it before.
Maybe a few cheers as well for Woods, who bravely keeps ploughing forward, trying to land body shots. Here comes Clinton Woods. But the more punches are being landed by Tarver, and you see him using the ropes there. Well, Clinton Woods now a long, long way behind on our cards. We've only got him winning the one round, Richie.
Yeah, just one round at the moment, Clinton. He's well behind here. Walking onto those combinations, those left uppercuts, and that straight jab. I mean, Tarver, give him credit. He's good at long range, but he's been very good on the inside tonight as well with the uppercuts. So good all-rounder tonight for me,
Well,
Tarver.
There's the card, 69-64. Only 5 rounds left, so Woods needs to win every one for a draw.
Afraid so, John.
Or alternatively, the big knockout punch, and there's been no signs of it coming so far.
You got the mouthpiece, right? Yeah, it's already in the mouth.
Tarver's boxed really well.
Take the towel over here.
We go now into the 8th. Woods said that this latter half of the fight would be his territory. He's got to believe it now.
It's better from Woods, but he just allowed Tarver again just to push him back. You've got Tarver, he's back on the ropes there.
Have they underestimated Tarver? Did they think that he was just going to be a shell?
Well, John, when we saw Tarver against Hopkins, I mean,
he looked like it, didn't he?
He looked a shell there, didn't he, at the end of the day? That was 2 years ago.
Well, I have to say, when people were asking me what I thought about this fight, I thought that Tarver's best days were behind him, and that the youthful vibrancy, the strength of Clinton Woods would be enough to prevail. Not looking a great shout at the moment, is it?
No, it isn't, but at the end of the day, Woods here is starting to land some good shots to the body. He switched downstairs, but he's just walking onto punches, and there's another left uppercut.
Tarver must have landed a dozen or so of those really good, classy left uppercuts.
Yeah, the variation in his work, Tarver, tonight has been very, very good indeed. Long range behind that jab. Then as Clinton's coming in, he changes to hooks and uppercuts on the inside, and he's finding the target.
Tarver's been able to get back to the sort of form that saw him get those points decision against Johnson, against Jones, against Roy Jones. Crowd jeering again. They want to see more from Woods. They want to see this turn into real toe-to-toe action, which we've not seen. Tarver's been able to stick to the boxing skills for the most part. Here's Woods trying to apply the pressure.
Walk behind the head, Woods. Walk behind the head.
Throw the uppercut now, Clinton on the inside. Good opportunities there to throw that right uppercut.
Well, Woods has bravely tried to come forward in this round, but has he done enough? I don't think so. Maybe. He's had more success, but I don't think he's won the round, Richie.
Tough one, isn't it? Tough one to call this, that round.
Best round Woods has had for some time.
But was it enough to win it?
Richie Woodall deliberates as the judges' cards are collected.
I'm going to give it him, John.
You're going to give that to Clinton?
Yep.
He's got to take the last 4 as well. Tarver just complaining, I think, a little bit about pain in his left wrist. They're working away. I just wonder if he's damaged that left hand.
It's not a good sign, was it?
Into the 9th round. The way we're seeing it, Woods has got to win everything from here on in to even have a chance of retaining his title.
Good body shot again from Clinton.
He has come into the fight more over the last couple of rounds. It's good work from Tarver.
You've got to remember he was a world amateur champion, wasn't he? Olympic bronze medalist, so he was a very, very good boxer as an amateur.
Nobody doubted his boxing, did it? What we wondered was whether he was washed up. And Woods now has got to the stage of the fight where if he is struggling with fitness, with stamina, with everything else that a boxer needs to remain at the top, if Tarver's days are numbered, then this is where Woods has got to come on strong. But that's terrific work from Tarver.
Good combination work from Tarver in this round. Oh, again, little left uppercut.
Clinton Woods, who hasn't lost since being defeated by Glenn Johnson back in March 2004. Good uppercut again from Tarver. Wood's mouth now is starting to look a bit of a mess. He's starting to get a bit busted up as he comes bravely forward. All the quality work from Tarver.
I think Tarver's just been tricky, hasn't he, with the movement on, with a good shot again from Tarver. Always on the move. When he gets on those ropes, look, he pushes him off again. Knows that isn't the place he should be. And that's where he knows he should be, in that centre of that ring.
It only takes one shot, but Woods somewhere now really needs to find it. Tarver very much in control. It goes the distance, goes the way of the judges. Howard Foster, Steve Marshall from Brisbane, John Rupert from Miami, Florida. Foster, the judge from Doncaster, but I don't think that was a terribly hard round to score, Richie.
No, I can't see how the judges are going to score it any differently, really. Tarver is winning most of these rounds. I've got it 88-83 now. And probably I've been generous with one of those rounds as well.
Listen, it's not going to be hard if you don't do it. Come on, come on.
Don't wait.
Don't wait now. Give it to him. Forget them bruises, they'll be all right tomorrow. It starts to spin here. In here we're going to... Come on.
Have a breather.
Don't let him. Release that. Don't leave it. Come shield. Come shield. Come shield.
Get closer. Keep getting closer.
Well, the Woods corner, Richard Poxon, his trainer, imploring him to produce the last big effort. But effort has not been enough so far tonight. It's been a triumph for technique and boxing skills, and they've come from Tarver.
It's all or nothing now for Clinton. He just hasn't found the range. He hasn't really found the target enough for me tonight, Clinton.
It's been a fairly one-sided fight, truth be told. Taking on the arms and the gloves of Tarver, those hooks. Woods is coming forward. trying to find something special even at this late stage.
I think Woods may have thought and may have banked on Tarver just standing a little bit more and trading with him, but he hasn't done that at all. I mean, he's hit and he's moved. He's always on the back foot, Tarver.
His variety of shots has been lovely, hasn't it?
You know, straight shots, then he'll switch to the hooks, little uppercuts. Better shot from Clinton, that was all right. Need more than that. But look at Tarver, just always on the move. He'll move from there now, he'll push Clinton away.
This is the point where Woods wants his man. He's got to produce the big effort here. Needs to find the special shots, but he's forced to cover up. And there, lovely skills as he works his way off the ropes. Quality again from Tarver.
Oh, that was a great shot from Tarver there.
Minute to go in this 10th round. Woods almost running after his man across the ring. The bravery is certainly there from Woods and the desire.
That's better from Clinton.
.30 seconds to go in the 10th. Tarver feeling the pace now, I think. Woods' face is a bit of a mess now. Mouth swollen and bleeding. Nose and eyes reddened.
Easy shoulder, Tarver.
That's a good shot from Tarver. Really eye-catching left hand to finish the round. And look at those quality shots from Tarver. How did you score that one, Richie?
For me, it's another round for Tarver, John, I have to say.
Through jeers from the crowds. Not quite sure what about. I don't think you can possibly say. That they're not being entertained by quality from Antonio Tarver. He's given a bit of a boxing lesson to Woods, hasn't he? Let's be honest about it.
Boxing superbly well tonight here, Tarver. Just his variation for me, and his movement has been exceptional.
The jeers of the crowd because they weren't seeing replays. The host broadcasters decided to interview Chad Dawson behind the scenes instead. Dawson, who was a controversial winner earlier on against Glenn Johnson. The crowd thought that Johnson had won it. Woods has got to knock Antonio Tarver out now if he's going to win this fight, no question about it. Been a really dominant performance from the 39-year-old American. One that we didn't really believe he was capable of producing. It's a good shot from Woods, good right hand. Can he follow it up?
He certainly needs more of them. I think what's been good from Tarver tonight as well has been his accuracy.
Yeah.
Especially with that left uppercut.
Crowd loved that one. Good left hand from Tarver. He's shown skills aplenty tonight against a very strong man in Clinton Woods.
It's better from Clinton, just above us. Well, yeah, he is a strong guy, Clinton, because, you know, punches, believe you me, when you take shots like this, then they really take it out of you. And he just keeps coming forward. He's such a brave kid.
Oh, great shot from Tarver. And Woods really felt that one. Tarver now sensing perhaps that he might be able to go looking for a finish. Woods holding his arms aloft, saying he's not hurt, but I tell you what, he is. Now back comes Woods. What a shot he took there, Richie.
Yeah, big shot. Took it well. And that's fired him up. This is what we need from Clinton now.
Crowd are rising to Clinton Woods. He took one of the best shots of the fight and came back throwing big punches of his own. Now Tarver back into a rhythm. Tarver's mouth's hanging open, he's feeling the pace as well. Time. 11 rounds finished. Well, let's take again a look at some of the action from that round. That was a terrific left hand from Tarver. But how well did Clinton Woods take it?
Yeah, took it very well. Great chin. I think this is it from another angle. Bang. Oh, great punch.
I think he'd almost be suffering from whiplash, never mind anything else from that one.
Just moving away. See, Clinton was moving away there with the hands low. And Tarver's got such a long reach.
But Woods took it well, came back. Let's hear what they're saying in the corner. Final round. Clinton Woods unquestionably needs a knockout if he's going to win this fight. Tarver might fancy one himself. Planting his feet, looking to really deliver these shots with hurtful intent. Grandstand stuff. Virtuoso work from Tarver.
Yeah, he's going for it now, Tarver. Got the confidence now. Can Clinton just find that one shot, that one right hand?
Tarver has gone through the gears and is really going for it in this last round. Wanting to produce the real eye-catching finish. That was a great left hand. Woods takes it again, but it's been one-way traffic in this final period. Accurate and hurtful, the work of Antonio Tarver. An illegal turn, said the referee. Woods has been brave, but his boxing skills have not been enough, and strength and fitness have been trumped by class.
Just cannot get out of the way of these straight lefts from Tarver.
Last throw of the dice for Clinton Woods, maybe. Can he find something even now in these last few seconds? Tarver, Tarver. The chant goes up from the Florida fans. Antonio Tarver has dominated this fight almost from the outset. Woods has hardly been able to get into it.
Yeah, good performance from Tarver. You've got to give it to him. He's fought a great fight, and now he's really turning it on now with that left hand.
Picking his shots beautifully. Hurtful combinations right the way to the wire. USA, USA, the chance. USA 1, Britain 0. Hopkins against Calzaghe next week. 10 seconds to go.
Stop, break, come on, step back. Step back.
Well, Woods finishes on his feet, but no doubting who has won this fight. Antonio Tarver, 39 years old, from Tampa, Florida, has rewarded his fans with a tremendous display. May not be a complete shutout, but it may not be too far off. No. Antonio Tarver, I didn't think he had that sort of performance still in him, but he proved me and one or two other doubters very, very wrong, and he was better in just about every department.
Yeah, he was. He fought the perfect fight tonight, Tarver. He worked well behind the jab. His combinations were very, very good, and he was always on the move. He never allowed Clinton to push him back onto the ropes, and when Clinton did, he just quickly moved back and boxed in the spaces. He boxed to his strength at the end of the day. It was a perfect performance from Tarver. This is the last round now. Look at this great straight left there again from Tarver. He seemed to catch Woods with so many of those shots in that last round.
Collating the scores now, but it's only confirmation of what we all know. Somebody in that corner is saying they took you for granted. I don't think so. I think the man here produced a very, very good display of boxing. Looks pretty young for 39, doesn't he?
He does indeed.
Clinton, well, that's the face of a very disappointed man.
Yeah, I'm disappointed for him. We know how courageous he is and how brave he is, but he just didn't have an answer tonight. He couldn't change the tactics and couldn't get that head moving. Just walking onto shots. But it's it's easy sitting here and saying it.
Karen Bryant, our interviewer, has made her way into the ring. No doubt she'll be heading for Antonio Tarver, and we'll hopefully get a word with Clinton Woods at some point as well. That's some of the work from Tarver through the fight. That uppercut was a scoring winning punch right the way through, the left uppercut.
Especially when he ended the combination with the uppercut. There was 3 or 4 shots and then he would end on an uppercut. And yeah, excellent, very accurate.
Jimmy Lennon Jr. poised to deliver the verdict. Antonio Tarver congratulated by his family.
He boxed to his strength, didn't he, tonight, Tarver? He didn't allow Clinton to work on the inside. And you have to take your hat off to him.
Well, we're just about ready now. Jimmy Lennon Jr. has got the scorecard in his hands. Tarver going across to commiserate with Clinton Woods. Always nice to see that expression of mutual respect between the two men at the end of a contest. And here we go, this is the result.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Steve Marshall, scores about 116 to 112. Judge John Rupert sees it 117 to 111. And judge at ringside, Howard Foster, scores about 119 to 109. All 3 in favor of the winner. He is now the IBF and IBO light heavyweight champion, Antonio the Magic Man Tarver.
The Magic Man prevails by margins of 10 rounds, 6 rounds and 4 rounds. We had it pretty wide, corresponding pretty much with the British judge, Howard Foster, who scored it 119-109. Richie had it 1 round closer than that, but an emphatic win for the American. It's United States 1, Great Britain 0. Hopkins and Calzaghe will be watching this one, but tonight it's a win for the man from Florida, Antonio Tarver.
Oh, what a real anticlimax in the end. Huge disappointment, Steve Bonds, here in the studio for Woodson. Just the way he went about the whole business tonight.
First of all, let's get it. Antonio Tarver fought a fantastic fight. It was an inspired performance by a fighter boxing to the best of his awkward southpaw abilities. Let's take care of Tarver. Let's not denigrate or belittle Tarver's performance in any way.
So he was that good.
He was that good. But now we're going to go through what Woods didn't do. He never moved his legs into position. He never went out to the right to nullify that left uppercut, which the boys just went on and on about, correctly on and on about, okay? He never once, when Tarver turned his back, whacked him on the back. It's illegal. But guess what? You do it once, the referee tells you off, 18,000 people boo, and the guy doesn't do it again. And once he doesn't do it again, he's in trouble, because that's what he's doing. You know, he's using that as an escape route. And once that happened, he's just coming forward, Clinton, in straight lines all the time. Absolute straight lines. He's playing directly into Tarver's hands. He'll go back. You saw Richard Poxon in the corner at the end of, I think it was the end of the 5th round. He gives him such a ridiculous bollocking. It's such a serious bollocking. Trainers don't do that unless they know that the guy they're really giving it to is going to turn things round. And he didn't. And you notice when he went back at the end of the 6th round, because that was the best round that Tarver had up until, I think, about the 10th or the 9th, when he goes back, you see Poxon feeling a bit... He looks guilty. Yeah. It looks like I was out of order last time when I accused you of not trying. You told me you were trying. And from that moment on, it looked like damage limitation in the corner. And towards the end of the fight, the last 3 or 4 rounds, there was such little dialogue. And in that last round, and I swear to you, Phil, I can't remember in a world title fight where the world champion goes out in the last round and he knows he needs a knockout. He knows he needs a stoppage. But at that stage, Clinton, who we've talked about a lot of times on Santore here, he's an honest pro. And he knew in his heart of hearts, he's not a con man. He's not a crook. He's not tricky. He's not into self-denial or self-deception. He knew he couldn't stop Tarver. So the last 180 seconds, you know what it was about? It was about just going to the bell. And no one can fault him for that, because he'd fought his heart out. He'd taken a bit of a hiding, a slow and gentle pummeling. And in that last round, he went out when he needed a knockout. He knew he couldn't get it, so he just tried to get to the bell.
OK, great summation, Steve. Well, next weekend, it's one of our biggest fights ever here on Setanta Sports. It's Joe Calzaghe against Bernard Hopkins, live from Las Vegas, and we're hoping for a different outcome as far as the British is concerned.
Joe Calzaghe is the new super middleweight world champion.
And Lacey is on the receiving end of a barrage of punches.
Joe Calzaghe is now the undisputed super middleweight king.
Over 50,000 saw the unbeaten Calzaghe.
That was quite outstanding.
My best moment in sport.
All that's in it for me now are big fights.
The crowd were whipped into a frenzy as Joe Calzaghe squared up to American legend Bernard Hopkins.
Hopkins reportedly said, "I'll never let a white boy beat me."
As far as I'm concerned, it's a pathetic comment and his embarrassment to himself.
I said what I said, and come April 19th, it was up to Joe to prove me a liar.
I think I owe it to the fans to go to Vegas, shut them Americans up.
I take souls. I won this guy.
Plenty of edge there, all right.
So this isn't hype, that was Bernard Hopkins.
When am I going to go? Listen, I decide when I'm going to go.
You want to be great? Do great things.
Setanta Sports is the home of IPL cricket. See the world's cricketing elite in action in this dynamic new league starting on April the 18th. That's Friday onwards. Setanta Sports 1 and 2. They're the first few matches in the IPL cricket. Well, we've just seen Antonio Tarver absolutely demolish Clinton Woods and take his IBF light heavyweight title. We can hear from both fighters now.
And I needed this win tonight. I'm surprised that I was finally able to gut out a tough decision, and I think the judges had it fairly.
And you think you were gutting it out. I mean, is that the thing? Did it go longer than you thought? Did you feel strong at the end? I mean, because obviously at your advancing age, I'm going to say, that's a concern.
It's not a concern of mine. I finished strong. I was in great shape, great condition. I just want to congratulate Clinton for coming over here, being man enough to put his belt on the line against myself. And, you know, that's what it's all about. Champions fighting champions. So I'm looking for the other belt holders.
All right. Well, your left hand seemed to be an effective tool tonight.
It's always been an effective tool when I've been in condition and shape, you know, and I was active. I don't know what was my average of punches per round, but I came out and did what I wanted to do. I was in great shape. I can punch in case anybody out, and I can give a punch. Clinton is a tough, gritty guy, got a chin of iron, and we tested tonight. I think we heard him a couple times, but he was able to last, and that's what it's all about.
All right, great. If you can hang tight for just a second. Clinton, what do you think happened to you tonight? I mean, you said that you thought going into this Antonio was the better technician, but you thought that you would still be able to win your fight.
Yeah, I did. I thought I'd be able to tough it out, but listen, I fought the best light heavyweight in the world. He's proved it. I'm just a skinny boy from Sheffield. I never dreamt of things like this.
I paid a lot of money tonight, so congratulations.
This is a dream come true for me. But all credit to Tarver. Did a fantastic job. What's done to my lip? No, congratulations to him. I don't know what I'm going to do now, but I'm happy with my career. I never expected the things what I've won. Like I say, Tarver is a new champion.
All right, well, your humility, I've been told by your fans, is what attracts them to you. They've always thought that you're a very grounded guy and that you seem to be staying that way. But are you feeling truly that you might stop?
I don't know. Like I say, I never dreamt of being a world champion. I've been world champion. I've won everything I've ever dreamed of. I don't know if it's time. I'll go back home, talk to my wife, play with my kids, have a good time. I don't know whether. Tarver's 39. Right, yes. I'm 35. Maybe I've got a few years left.
I tell you what, you guys definitely seem to be more cordial with each other now after the fight. Is that the case?
I mean, that's business. This is a competition. May the best man win. I felt great going in. I'm expressing myself. He felt great coming in. He expressed himself. That's why boxing is the #1 entertaining sport today. And as long as we have great champions like Clinton Woods, this sport is alive and thriving, baby.
Now, you also told me that you thought it was good for the division that Chad Dawson would win. You know, that was what you told me yesterday. He turned out to win. Do you want to fight him? What do you think about that now?
Chad Dawson be easy pickings right now because he's not the same fighter he was the day before tonight. He's a wounded duck. Chad, if you want it, come and get it, baby. You next.
Well, because, you know, Antonio, some people would argue that he learned a lot tonight by getting hit, getting hurt, and that he may come back stronger.
He got hit by Glenn Johnson. He didn't get hit by Antonio Tarver. That's the difference, baby.
All right, I understand that. So who do you think you would like next, though? Is that where you'd want to go next,
man.
Dawson?
We can do it. We can come right back here to the Sunshine State, Tampa, Florida, baby. AT Entertainment doing big things. We coming right back, baby. Believe that.
All right, well, congratulations to you, Antonio, and congratulations to you as well, Clinton.
Well, commiserations, I think, more for Clinton Woods there. Clinton seems to be a little bit almost too laissez-faire about the whole thing, and he's talking maybe about quitting. Did you read into that?
I think there were big signs there that he fancies. Right now in the ring, his heart's a bit broken. I think that he's thinking about quitting. I think he'll go home. The bruising will go down. He'll sit down with his wife, have a chat with Dennis Hobson. And you know what, Phil? He's been in some big fights. He's held out. He could have taken some lesser title fights for fairly meaningless versions of world titles. He didn't. He held out. He got the Roy Jones fight at very good money. He's had a lot of good paydays. So my gut feeling is he might have enough money. He might be able to walk away. I mean, what did he do? How has he spent his money recently? You know what he did? He bought a caravan in Cleethorpes. This is a guy that likes to be with his family, likes to be around his home. He doesn't need 50 million. He might only need a few million, and I think he's got that. Let him retire. And you saw there, just briefly, wasn't it fantastic? There was Tarver congratulating Clinton Woods. What a fantastic fella you are. Then turns the camera when it's the next challenge. Chad Dawson, bang, he's back. Yeah. He's back trash talking. He's a quality act, isn't he? He's the best talker in boxing history. I'm convinced of it.
Well, he's great to listen to. He was also
tonight he was great to watch.
And totally dominated, didn't he? I mean,
all the way through,
start to finish.
You know, there's something. He leans away, so he's not just a southpaw. He's a southpaw who's leaning away. He's ducking away, and that's what I said earlier on. Clinton never once moved to Clinton's right, and he might have moved into where Tarver was ducking. And once he gets that left hand moving, he either comes up through the middle, which Clinton had no defence again, or he moves slightly round to his left himself. Tarver opens up that left foot slightly and throws a straight right. most of what Tarver threw, I'd like to see his percentage tonight, because I tell you, generally the boxers land on about a quarter to a third of their punches. Tarver, I don't think, wasted more than about 20% of his punches tonight. You know, we're showing random clips here, but we could have been truly random and just grabbed 20 seconds from any round, and it would have been very similar style action, apart from the second, which I think we all agree, Howard Foster a Doncaster as well, that Clinton won. It's just Tarver enjoying himself. He's not loading up, his shots are relaxed. You know, there's an expression, Phil, to be a quality fighter, you need to keep your head up and your shoulders down. As soon as your head goes down, your shoulders come up. And that's what Clinton was like in his last 3 or 4 rounds. It was like his head had gone down and his shoulders had come up. You saw with Tarver, heads up, shoulders down. If your shoulders are down, it's the same if you're running a marathon. It's the same if you're playing chess. It's the same if you're in a world title fight in front of 18,000 people in Tampa. You've got to be relaxed. And Tarver was just fluid and relaxed there. And our boy, Clinton, he wasn't. He's going to go home. He's going to rue tonight. He's going to be upset with himself. But you know what? He can hold his head up high. No problem. And I think he's got enough money banked.
And what about Tarver now? Can he unify the light heavyweight division once again?
Him and Chad Dawson will be one of the ugliest fights in the history of boxing. 2 guys, southpaws, awkward southpaws. They fall over when they're looking slick. Part of their act is to fall over and fall and roll away. 6'2", both skinny, both southpaws, both awkward. I fancy Dawson. I'll have a little bit too much. He's a bit young, a bit fresher. But you know what I said about an hour and a half ago? I don't know what came over me. I had one of those Jedi moments. I said I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it in my bones. I can.
Yeah,
I really seriously felt that Clinton was going to do it. He didn't, but I'm convinced that Chad Dawson would. But saying that, I don't think Chad Dawson is anywhere near as good as people want him to be. To me, he's a bit like Jeff Lacey light. Jeff Lacey came to the MEN 2 years ago, was going to destroy Joe Calzaghe. I mean, Joe Calzaghe wasn't going to last 3 rounds. In the end, Joe Calzaghe won every second of every round, dropped Jeff Lacey in the 12th round. Jeff Lacey's not been the same fighter since. A half-decent, younger light heavyweight, if there's one out there, I'm sure there is somewhere in the Eastern Bloc, will take care of Mr. Dawson, because he didn't impress me that much tonight. But I think him and Tarver will cancel out each other. Clinton didn't tonight. He followed in train tracks, made Tarver look tonight about as good as he has ever looked in his career.
All right, Steve, thanks for your insight as always. That fight obviously is for the distant future. Next week we're looking forward to Joe Calzaghe against Bernard Hopkins from Vegas, and we'll have a preview of that after this short break. Welcome back. Joe Calzaghe's big fight in Vegas is just a week away, and Des Lynam has been to meet Joe to get his thoughts on Bernard Hopkins.
You met him a few times. What do you make of him?
He's a bit of an idiot, isn't he? What can I say? He's a bit of an idiot. People say I've been offended by his comments or rattled. I've been amused. You know, I don't think he understands he's actually fighting somebody who's more experienced than himself. Although he's 43, I've probably been boxing longer than he's been boxing. So I've seen everything as regards to people saying things to me. And, you know, I'm not being offended by his so-called loose or white guy comment. It just makes him look stupid, because he's going to look an idiot when he does get beat by me. But I've enjoyed the experience. I'm really looking forward to Vegas, and I'm looking forward to going there. And I've always felt in myself that it'd be great to travel. And my temperament and my personality, I always believe that I'll take everything in my stride. And you know, it's not a problem, because when he gets, I'm going to his place. I'm going to Vegas to fight, but when he's in that ring, he's in my place. That's the way I look at it. That's my place. So as soon as he steps in that ring, he can say what he likes and pull all the stunts he wants to pull. As soon as he steps in that ring, then he's in for a...
Because one of the things he said he saw some fear in your eye.
I love that. Somebody told me that was really funny. Yeah, obviously, it's quite amusing. But that's good. Just let him think that. Like I said all along, you know, he can be the bad guy in the build-up, but, you know, come April 19th, I'm going to be the bad guy.
Tell me something. Have you and Enzo looked at tapes of him? I mean, have you studied him much, or does he have to take care of you, as it were, look out for what you offer?
I'm not going to change anything I've done over the years. I literally don't watch fights. I watch maybe 1 or 2 fights, and that's it. And I watch it once, maybe twice.
So you come with what you've got to offer and let him worry about it?
Yeah, listen, to be honest, I've got about, somebody showed me 5 CDs. I watched 1 fight of him. And that's what I need to see. You know, at the end of the day, I've seen him fight in the past. You know, I fell asleep a few of his fights, but basically, he's very clever what he does. He's more of a defensive fighter. You know, he's a dirty fighter as well. You know, he comes in with throws his head a lot in with his right hand.
So you got to watch out for that.
Inside, he gives you a little whack on the blind side of the referee. And obviously, he's going to try and throw dirty tactics. He's going to try and throw me off my game plan. He's going to try and aggravate me and try and get me mad. And obviously a mad fighter is not a good fighter, because when you get mad, all your tactics go out the window. But the thing is, I don't get mad in fights.
You do?
Maybe
it has
I do.
happened a little bit once or twice.
But yeah.
Because once or twice against Kessler, I thought you were waging war a little bit too much, and then you got hold of your senses. Enzo got hold of you.
That was calculated. I went in to test him out, and obviously I thought the guy's pretty strong, and he caught me some good shots. So I thought, you know, I'm going to revert back to my boxing. But years ago, I would have probably stayed toe to toe and thought, wait, I can knock this guy out.
Yeah.
So I realised straight away and bang, and this after the fourth round, when I reverted to my boxing, I think I won about 5 rounds in a row. He didn't have a clue. I would say, wait, this isn't fight. It was in the last round. So my adaptability, obviously, is always been there. But a bit immature years ago, my emotions used to get the better of me. But what I mean is, like, this has come at the right time now in America, because I'm 36 now. I'm a lot more experienced, and things don't get to me like I used to. And I'm just a character. I'm just a lot calmer character than I used to be. I'm not in a rail, just, you know, everything is said just goes over my head. So I'm more relaxed, and that's probably why my performances have been a lot better, because I am a lot more relaxed in the ring.
And let's hope he is next weekend. The countdown to Calzaghe Hopkins is well and truly on. You can see more of that interview coming up on Setanta Sports. Calzaghe fight special tonight, 8 p.m. Setanta Sports 1, and then when Des met Joe, the extended interview there Monday 6:30 Setanta Sports 1, and then we've got some live countdown shows from Vegas in the build-up to the big fight, April the 16th, 17th, 18th, all at 7 on Setanta Sports 1 and 2. Tune in the build-up. So we hope next weekend will be an absolute classic, Steve.
Yeah, we do, and we're hoping it's going to be a different fight to the one we saw tonight, where there was a wily old American former world champion being able to control a very good fighter. I think Joe is a lot better than Clinton Woods, but I also think that Bernard Hopkins is a lot better than Antonio Tarver. When in fact Tarver and Hopkins met, Hopkins got bored. He won 10 of the 12 rounds and he took a kip in the other 2 rounds. It was that easy for him, and that's why this week and those build-up shows, it's going to be crucial to see how Joe is handling the pressure. He's talked on the past, he's talked on this show, on Setanta, about not making the same mistakes that Ricky Hatton made back in December last year, that fantastic fight with Mayweather, enormous fight. 8,000 people at the weigh-in, Phil, it was crazy, 20,000 in the arena, 30,000 Brits in town. And Ricky got carried away, okay? Joe is convincing himself it won't happen to him. But it's easy to say, it won't happen to me. He hasn't been there yet. And when he's the centre of the attention, with about 10,000 Brits there, 20,000 fans, and pressure, I don't know, 100 radios set up in the press room, about 200 members of the press from all over the world. Hopkins brings them in from all over. They come from Japan. We've got to make sure that Joe does stay focused. And that Enzo, his father and trainer and loyal ally, we've got to make sure that he stays focused, because Hopkins has said again and again, there's 3 ways I win this fight. I get to the dad, I use my head, I use my legs. He's not even talking about using his fists, so he's going to start getting to the dad in a week. He's convinced that the dad could be crucial on the night. And so the build-up, the Wednesday show, the Thursday show, the Friday show, Setanta Sports 1, 7 o'clock, that's when we're going to get an idea. Yeah. Because Ricky fell apart on about the Thursday. Will Joe do the same? And Bernard, he'll just have that little executioner's smile on his face. He's a slick man.
We'll be looking for you to gauge the mood.
I'll do my best.
All right. And don't forget, the big fight is next weekend. Let's point in the direction of when you can actually see the fight. Joe Calzaghe against Bernard Hopkins. Next Saturday, our coverage starts at 10:30 p.m. Setanta Sports 1. Join Paul Dempsey, Steve and the guys for the big fight. In your heart of hearts, then, all you've just said, Steve, tell me briefly, do you think Joe can do it in your heart of hearts?
Let me just take the nail out, take the hammer out, nailed on Big Joe on points. Nailed on, Phil.
Absolutely.
Bearing
in mind,
this is nothing to do with my bones.
This is the man who made this prediction about Clinton Woods.
Exactly. This is nothing to do with feeling it in my bones. This is looking at it, analysing it, and I can't see how Joe can lose. But it's going to be really tight. It's going to be ugly at times, but it's going to be seat of your pants job, and Bernard to scream the gaff down when it's over.
Well, you know what? We're looking forward to it immensely here at Setanta Sports. It's one of the biggest fights we've ever had here. Clinton Woods against Joe Calzaghe against Bernard Hopkins next weekend. It's going to be a fascinating contest. Sadly for Clinton Woods, he wasn't able to do the business tonight. He has lost his world title. The IBF light heavyweight crown has gone to Antonio Tarver after a masterclass in Tampa. From all the team here on Setanta Sports Boxing, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.